Julia Furst Morgado, who is a global technologist on the product strategy team at Veeam Software. With a journey from practicing law in Brazil to working in marketing and ultimately transitioning to tech in 2022, has given her a unique perspective across industries. And she organizes events like Kubernetes Community Days New York, AWS Community Day New York, and CNCF Midtown Meetup New York City, fostering spaces for learning and collaboration. She's passionate about making technology more accessible and empowering others to find their path in tech. Unfortunately, she was unable to join us live today, so she sent us a video in advance. So we're going to play that video and you can learn about her thoughts on glue work. So I'm going to go, let's see, find the video.
Hi everyone, welcome to this talk. Today we're going to talk about glue work, and this presentation is aimed at junior engineers and particularly females, because glue work tends to fall to females, but whoever mostly is looking for advice on how to develop their career. I will provide tips for thinking about where you want to go with your career and how to spend time to get there, whether that means doing glue work or not. But to start, let me introduce myself. My name is Julia. I'm a global technologist at Veeam, and I'm also involved in multiple technology communities in New York, in Lisbon. I am a CNCF ambassador. I know AWS container hero, etc. And I love helping people, especially underrepresented groups, and help them grow in their career or transition into tech. One fun fact is that I used to be an attorney and I transitioned into tech later in my life. So if you ever have questions, feel free to reach out to me. My LinkedIn or my social media is there, Julia F. Morgado. And I would love to connect with you. So yeah, go there and add me on LinkedIn. And let's start to talk about the most important topic of the presentation. But before, I also would love to hear in the chat if you've heard the term before, glue work. So comment yes or no. Glue work is, not very known, but it's very important to talk about. Now, so for you to understand what glue work is, let me tell you a scenario. Imagine that there is a woman called Sarah. She's a junior engineer who just joined her company last year. And despite this, she's already the team leader in her company. She writes documentation, she runs meetings, she takes notes, she sets up communication channels, fixes sources of friction in the developer tooling, and generally, she makes the team more efficient. Everyone loves working with her. They say great things about her. And on the other hand, we also have David. He joined similarly at the same time as Sarah. And but contrary to Sarah, David, he's a coding machine. He's always focused on coding and spends all his time doing that and coding for important features. So whatever they ask him, he does, when it comes to coding, and he does a great job, but he doesn't do much else than that. He's 9 to 5 and it's just coding. He doesn't help out with other things. Now, at the end of the year, during their performance reviews, David gets promoted because he shipped more features than Sarah. Sarah, on the other hand, gets a high rating because her work was critical for the team, but she isn't considered for a promotion. This is glue work. So the work that helps projects get completed well and teams function, but that isn't always recognized. Now, I'll ask you, is it fair? Of course, fair it's not, but it happens all the time. Many companies reward visible contributions like writing code, but they all overlook essential teamwork. Glue work makes everything run smoothly, but if it's not measured, it might not be valued. That's why you need to be aware of it and you need to be intentional in your career. Now, let me give you another scenario to understand this as well. Let me introduce you another woman. Her name is Carla, and she was doing glue work for her team. Now, she was feeling frustrated because no one was acknowledging her efforts, no one was thanking her or stepping in to help her as well. So 1 year later, she decided she was gonna stop doing the glue work, and she thought that others might finally realize the value of her work and also take on some responsibility. But instead of that, everything fell apart. Suddenly, leadership and teammates went to her with questions like, how do we avoid this? And which means, can you go back to fixing everything for us? Or questions like, didn't you take notes on this? Or, translating, we relied on you, but we didn't bother keep track ourselves. And questions like, why didn't you warn us? Which in fact is, we didn't pay attention, so now it's your responsibility. And basically, Carla's absence didn't lead to anyone stepping up, like I said, but instead, people only noticed the work when it was no longer being done by her. And now, instead of recognizing that gap, they blame Carla for not holding everything together. So this is another scenario that happens a lot every time, and you need to keep in mind if you're doing glue work at your company. Now, these scenarios are glue work, and glue work includes everything from writing documentation, setting up team meetings, taking notes, onboarding new hires, even mentoring. If you're just starting out, if you're a junior engineering, that can count as glue work as well. Also improving workflows. So these tasks generally, they help everyone in the team, but they don't directly contribute to coding deliverables, to the projects that the team is working on. And while this is very valuable, glue work is very valuable, doing too much of it can slow down your technical and your career growth. So yes, glue work is great, but there is a trap. So let's talk about what trap is that. The real problem with doing glue work is there is an opportunity cost. So it means when you're doing glue work, you're not doing something else. You're not doing other things. So if you're focused too much on glue work early in your career, this can take your time away from, for example, building your technical skills, focusing on the coding aspect of your role. And if you don't get enough hands-on coding experience, it might limit future opportunities in technical roles or promotions, that career growth that everyone wants. So this is the biggest trap when it comes to glue work. Now, also remember that time is limited and how you spend it affects your career. So it would be a very good exercise for you once you're done watching this talk. Write down what you spend your time doing. Do you spend time coding? Do you spend time doing glue work? Do you spend time on meetings? That would be helpful for you to realize what you're doing and what you need to change. So, because as you see here on the graph, every hour spent on glue work is an hour not spent on coding. And that doesn't mean you should avoid entirely glue work, but you need to be deliberate, you need to be intentional about how much you take on, how much glue work you're gonna do versus how much coding. Because at the end of the day, your career is your responsibility. Now, what should you do? Besides this exercise, I think I just came up with this exercise of writing down what you do every day. What should you do? So first, you need to think where you want to go. Think about your dream job. Who do you admire? And what kind of work do they do? So speak, for example, with a role model or someone that is in a role that you aspire. Learn how they got there and what skills are necessary for that role. When I was transitioning to tech, I did a lot of coffee chats and I was talking to people that had the role that I wanted, and that it helped me realize how their day-to-day is like and the skills that I needed to improve to get there. Also, if, for example, if you want to be a tech lead or an architect, you will need deep technical skills. But if you love team coordination or project management, glue work might be a strength for you. But you need to make sure that you're choosing your path and not just falling into it because you're volunteering for it or because people are asking you to do things that are not part of your role. Also, you should figure out what you have a natural passion for. So, what gets you in that flow state? There are people that love coding and they just spend hours in front of the computer. Me, myself, I like meeting people, talking to people, presenting. So this is what I'm passionate about, and that's different from what software engineers do. But you need to realize what do you like to do and pursue that. Now, next, you need to start your day with your technical work, if that's what you want to do. So block the first hour for deep focus, and that ensures that you're making progress on the skills that matter the most for your career. For your career, sorry. And if it's not, technical skills, it can be preparing presentations, it can be, project management skills. It depends on what you want to do. Also, be mindful of glue work. Don't automatically volunteer all the time for it. Learn to say no, because doing it all won't necessarily earn you recognition or career growth. A lot of people, they volunteer and they say, I'll do it because they think their manager is going to see, oh, that person volunteers and is very helpful, but they won't help you with a promotion down the line. And if you notice that you have too much glue work on your plate, talk to your manager, be honest, and say that you have too much and it's and you're not being able to do your real work, and hopefully your manager will help you. You have to bring balance and discuss how you can shift that to do more impactful work. And if your manager is not talking to you about these things already, discussing your goals and discussing your skill development, you should take the initiative and start the conversation. Tell them where you want to go, what you want to learn, and what kind of work excites you. I'm sure your manager will help you. And if they don't, then it's another problem. But go to your manager and tell them these things. And finally, if you do enjoy glue work, if it's something you want to get better at, you make it visible. Make sure that people are seeing what you're doing and make sure that you're documenting it. So bring it up in reviews, make sure it is recognized as part of your contributions, because glue work is essential to the team and it should be valued just as any other work. So I think this slide is the most important one. If you wanna take a screenshot, or probably the presentation will be shared, the recording as well. But remember all of these, and also if you feel like you have too much glue work, ask if they can delegate to other people. But remember, you are your priority, and your career is your responsibility. So, in summary, glue work is very important, but junior engineers, they shouldn't get stuck in it. Senior engineers is okay, they can carry more of the load, but still, it needs to be, if you want to do that, you will do that. If you don't, don't volunteer and don't do more than what you want. So like you see here, if glue work is invisible, it's also unappreciated. If one person does all that glue work, they will become a crutch, and it might have bad repercussions down the road. Be deliberate, be intentional what you want to do with that, and make it visible, share responsibilities, ensure your manager and leadership value that type of work. And if you have your manager or leader, anyone watching this right now, talk to your people, the people below you. Try to help them out, because this is a big issue, especially for people starting out in their careers, and especially for women in tech. So we have to help each other, and the best way is, mentors, managers helping the ones that are under them. And I like this quote that I saw on Reddit. It says, dumping glue work for real work works, because if you're doing too much glue work and you stop doing that and you focus on your real work, you're gonna see the benefits. You're gonna probably get that promotion. You're gonna get to the point where you wanna be. If you stop or reduce doing the glue work, those glue work tasks. Now, I really encourage you to take a look at this Reddit post. It's recent, from 11 days ago, and there are a lot of women that commented around what type of glue work they do, why they stopped doing glue work, and why you should also stop doing glue work. You can comment there as well and share what you're struggling with. I believe social media can be helpful to a certain extent, and there are some groups on Reddit, for instance this one, that there are very valuable advice shared in there. So I would definitely tell you to go and take a look at that. And besides that, don't forget to follow me on LinkedIn. I love helping out people. If you're struggling, come talk to me. Don't worry, I think this is an important moment in your life, in your career, and you need to decide if you want to start saying no, if you want to do more of this, more of that. And just remember, you're not alone, okay? People have been in your shoes, and things will get better if you're struggling. If you're not struggling, that's great for you. Also, some blog posts and books that I recommend. So this blog, the noidea.dog/glue, she's the one that I think started with the concept of glue work, and she has a great presentation around that. Also, there are 2 books, so the Staff Engineer's Path and the Design Your Life are great if you want to be more conscious about the steps you need to take to get for that career growth. And also read this other article, Why Women Volunteer for Tasks That Don't Lead to Promotions. So all of this is going to give you some food for thought, and it's important, to prioritize yourself, your career. No one's going to do that for you. And again, feel free to reach out. You're not alone. We're all in this together, and I wish you best of luck. Bye.